Legendary quarterback, Hall of Famer, and thanks to the National Football Foundation. Michael Bishop got the shades on. I would expect nothing less from someone as smooth as you, Michael. This is, and look, you've you're in the coaching world now, but taking you back to your playing days, Farmageddon is one of the best rivalries that I think it gets really not talked about enough nationwide. And you played in it a few times. Mm-hmm. It's over in Ireland. Just as an alum, as a fan of Kansas State, how excited are you for this game on Saturday?
I'm very excited. I mean, for the young kids, young student athletes, you get an opportunity to go to travel and travel with a great mindset of let's go win this ball game. But it's a great rivalry. I've been blessed to be a part of it. We snuck away a couple of times when I was playing against those guys up north. But great rivalry, great fans. Excited about it. Go Wildcats! Hope we can put it off this weekend.
So, Michael, I know you're obviously a big K-State fan, but how much time do you have to keep up? How closely do you follow things? Do you kind of just check in? Where's your fandom on that sort of level? If you catch my drift,
I follow everything. On Twitter. All the social media outlets. K-State does a great job, just like any other university, of promoting. So I get to see all the good updates. The things that they say about Avery, the comparisons, things of that nature. So, just not only that I play there, but I'm a great fan of it. I love to see those guys do well. And any news for me from K-State is good news. Regardless of what the rest of the world may think. But great opportunity, great environment. So I'm always trying to keep up with the now part of college football, actually, but more than college football for Kansas State University.
This week was announced Cam Newton's getting his number retired at Auburn. He was at Blinn. You were at Blinn. And that's a couple of cannons that played there. Yes. What do people who are watching this who don't know about the history of Blinn Junior College football need to know about that place? Because you two are the biggest names, but so many teams, especially across the Big 12 and SEC, have been filled with guys who have helped them win a lot of games.
Yes, no shade thrown at Cam. I'm a fan of Cam's. I love the way he played the game. I love his enthusiasm. But when you talk about Blinn College, you talk about Willie Fritz, who's the head coach at U of H now. But you talk about Blinn College, not only did I do well, that Cam did well, but there's a lot of guys that paved the way for me. A lot of teammates that made me the guy who I became when I was there. So, but when you talk about Blinn College football, that's, to me, it's a powerhouse. And at that time, when I was there, I firmly believe, and you ask some of my ex-teammates, they can tell you too, I think we could have played with anybody in the nation for the 2 years I was there. But a funny story real quick about, I was out doing this event, and this guy was like, yeah, Cam Newton played at Blinn. And I'm like, yeah, I know. And he was like, oh, Cam won the national championship there. And I quickly said, yeah, but there was a guy that was there before Cam who won 2 national titles. So I kind of let him know what was going on. So, but great times at Blinn College, and Brenham, Texas is known for the ice cream and Bluebell, but they play some great football there as well.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do, and they have for a very long time. And man, yeah, you were a big part of that. How often have you talked to Coach Fritz? Do you guys keep up, or is it just kind of here and there?
Well, funny story. A lot of people don't know, but Coach Fritz used to coach at my high school. He taught PE when I was in 3rd grade. So I've been knowing Coach Fritz for a long, long, long time. And
wow.
Our relationship has grown over the years. We talk all the time. I followed him. I've been to everywhere except for Georgia Southern, where he's coached at. I've been able to go to a game and talk to the team and get to be around him. So great football coach, but a very let's see. He's enthusiastic. I think a lot of people don't get to see that. I got a chance to see that. I got a chance to see, how much he really loves the game, and the players that have played for him. If you're inside the locker room, you know what I'm talking about. He's not afraid to dance. He's not afraid to lead the victory song. But I'm glad that he was able to be a part of my life, and moving forward, he's still a part of my life. Look up to him. some of the things he and Coach Snyder have instilled in their programs, I take with me every single day. So I'm just blessed to be a part of something special. Blessed to see his success, and like I said, he gave me an opportunity to play quarterback, and it was my duty to repay that, and that's why our relationship is so good right now.
Yeah, and I wasn't thinking, but I'm sure there's somebody screaming at the phone of like, well, obviously there's a connection there right now as well, and I know that. So I was thinking more of like a personal manner. So I'm not blanking on. Obviously, you've talked to him lately, and so I know we'll get to that. But are college coaches, when they come to visit you, starstruck? Are you ever starstruck when college coaches come to visit? I don't imagine so, but that's just got to be kind of cool. A cool dynamic when guys walk in. There's Michael Bishop sitting there across from him and talking about his players.
Well, it's funny that you say that, because we've had a lot of scouts come to Legacy School of Sports Science, where I coach at, and for the younger guys, the quarterback coaches and secondary coaches, they always say, "Hey, man, my dad's a big fan." And they say, "Hey, man, before I got here, I was watching your highlights, man. I'm a big fan." And some of them say, "Hey, I just want to take a picture with you and show my family." So I enjoy it, but I know the main focus is on the young student athletes that I'm coaching. A lot of them have some bright futures, and I'm just blessed to be in the room, to be able to share my experience with these young guys, these young student athletes. But when the coaches come in, especially the kids look at me and it's like, "Coach, he recruited me or he recruited you?" I was like, "No, it's all about you, buddy." So we have fun with it as well.
Just yesterday, we were telling the young guys in here, we're like, you got to watch the Michael Bishop highlights.
Yeah.
We were doing the same exact thing.
Yeah, we were. We're like, hey,
Yep.
Because I was like, tell me everything you know about him. And that, like, they're like, he was the quarterback at Kansas State. I was like, and like, so yeah, I said, you do yourself a favor. You'll have fun. When you said 5 minutes ago that Willie Fritz was a PE teacher, I can't get it out of my head, because I've always been trying to peg what his energy is, his vibe. And now I'm looking at a video on your Twitter feed where he's talking and just his gesticulations. Now I get it. He is still a PE teacher. He's now at this really high level, but
Yes.
he is totally he would have been the best PE teacher I think you would ever have. He just has that about him.
Most definitely. And I think for the rest of the world that don't really know Coach Fritz, he's a special guy, So I've learned tons from him just by listening to him speak, being in the room when he's talking to other players and other coaches as well. I had a chance to watch him, talk to the players during practice, during the snap, he's on the mic, and he's coaching. I mean, he loves ball. So that's something that he lives for, So like I said, I'm just glad that I have an opportunity to, be a part of it, to witness it, to see it, and know that I know he's a special guy, man. So, shout out to Coach Fritz. Keep doing your thing.
Yeah, he's everywhere he goes is better. He makes it better.
Yes.
If I found out that the house I was moving into, Willie Fritz lived in it before, I'm like, oh man, there's gonna be some cool stuff in here. What is you knew him really well. Obviously, Bill Snyder. They're different in personality. Coach Fritz is a little more happy-go-lucky, I would say. PE teacher. Bill Snyder had more of a high school principal vibe to him. But what's your vibe as a coach from all the guys you've been? Obviously you have your own unique thing, but who have you maybe modeled it more after, as the way that you run your program and organize it?
There's a combination of Coach Fritz, Coach Snyder, and I bring up a name, Charlie Weiss. I was with Charlie Weiss in New England for a couple of years. So, I love the way he presented the plays to the guys. I love his his enthusiasm. Some players didn't like it, but I loved it because I can relate to it. But there's a mix of all three of those guys, and then of course I got some mixes from some guys I played for in Canada. It was just just excitement. So some days I'm very excited, some days I'm straight to the point. But the kids they get the message. So it's great because I've learned the do's and don'ts through my journey. And so I try to, teach the kids the right things, how to deal with media, how to deal with wins and losses, So that's something big that I've learned from each one of those guys. And and I'm sharing that passion. So, just it feels good to do it as well.
So, Michael, I mean, there's obviously the parallels. Avery Johnson gets brought up, and you naturally get brought up alongside him, and that's just the way it is when you're a legend at a school like that. A lot of expectations on this young man's shoulder. I think everybody kind of understood last year, like, hey, man, he's still young. There's a process here. What do you think about Avery? And I know you probably get asked about him all the time. Just what do you tell people about, what he's going through, how you relate, and maybe even what you tell him when you get a chance?
Well, if I'm on the sideline and I have a chance to, just whisper in his ear, I'm going to tell him, hey, breathe, relax. You've been doing this your whole life. It's just a bigger stage. You control this stage. Nobody else, they're going to follow you. So let's go get it. That's something that I would tell him right now before this game. Yeah, you're in a whole nother vibe right now. And live in the moment, enjoy the moment, but you're here to do one thing. Let's go play football. Let's go lead these other 10 guys. So let's go get it.
So your first game is next week, right? I'm
Yes.
looking at Second Baptist. You guys play them next week. What is the vibe there with your team? Like, do you feel they're ready to get to next week? I mean, you still got today and tomorrow to practice. I don't know if you've practiced yet, but like you've got tomorrow, you've got next week. But is it there's some excitement to get to a game week?
Well, it's definitely excitement because the kids made me remember something. So, the same group, the seniors that I have, they lost to Second Baptist in eighth grade, and so they're telling me that they owe Second Baptist one. And me, the competitor I am, I'm like, you're right. You got to go back and get it. You don't get a second chance all the time, but this is your second chance. It's your senior year. Let's go out with a bang. But I do know. Coaches at Second Baptist going to have their guys coached up. They're going to play well. They've had some great runs at the state title. So we can't take them lightly. But when I tell my team today, when I go out here in a little bit, I'm going to tell them, hey, stay focused, make every play. Try to attempt to make every play, but at the same time, enjoy the moment. It's Friday night football in the state of Texas. The bright lights, the band, the fans. We're playing on the turf field, so you can't really sniff the grass. But enjoy the moment, do what you're supposed to do, and everything will take care of itself. And through my journey, I know you can't win them all, uh, but give me 110% and let the chips fall where they may.
He got me feeling chills. Like it's kind of getting cold outside. Like I just feel like it's football weather. It just feels like it's here, right? And it is, and that's what's so exciting. I can tell you're excited, and I just want to say, knowing how busy you guys are, appreciate your time because I know you're trying to get ready for stuff. So thank you for giving us some time. You obviously have a very high profile young star quarterback and a lot of attention on him. I'd imagine maybe some of the advice you give to Avery, like you just told us, is kind of probably some of what you're telling him as well. But just how are you guiding Queshawn Henderson and just dealing with all that comes with being such a high profile young man in this day and age?
Well, the best thing about Queshawn Henderson is that I get to spend a lot of time with him, off the field. He's great on the field. Everybody knows that. The whole country knows that. But to get to know the kid off the field, he's been around my family. I've been around his family. We actually have a father-son type relationship, if you ask me. And if you ask him, he's going to say the same thing. You know, um, I had a conversation with him earlier, and I told him I was coming on the show, and he was like, "So what are you going to talk about, Coach?" And I'm like, talk about football." He was like, "So what about football?" So he's always asking these questions, which I love because it keeps me on my toes. We were looking at film and we were talking about the game plan, and we was going over the calls, and I'll give him a signal, and he yell out the call and tell me what the adjustment is, and that's what I love about the kid because he's always wanting to learn and wants to know more and more and more. And I try to slow him down a little bit because he's only 17 and he's ready for the world. Um, but when it's all said and done, man, he's a young man with a great future. He's a 4.0 student. He's a leader. He's everything that you look for in a quarterback, but he's a better person if you get a chance to know him. And that's what I respect about it. I understand his grind. I understand what he wants his future to look like. He's committed to University of Houston and he's ready for it. So he's one of the only guys I know that made his mind up and said, Coach, when I make that decision, that's where I'm going. And he has done a great job. University of Houston did a great job of recruiting him as well. Shout out Coach Fritz, great job. But at the end of the day, man, he's everything that you want in a kid to lead your program, and that's what I respect about him.
Yeah, looking at his Twitter profile, his GPA listed before that 40 time, 4.3, a GPA 4.540. Like that kind of lets me know right off the bat before I read anything about him, where he prioritizes his stuff.
Yes, absolutely. Like I said, he's a student of the game. He's a great student in the classroom. So we all know, you have to be able to balance both, and he does a great job of doing it, especially with all the attention that he was getting earlier last season, at the end of last season, and spring ball and all that. He's been able to balance it. A lot of people can't balance it when they're that young, and they see all the hype. They want to go to all these visits, and as we know, visits can they can turn a kid lifetime around, just because of what they see and what they hear. But he's done a great job of staying humble and understanding, what's out there for him.
So, as somebody who deals with young people, I think we naturally get older. We're like, oh, they're dealing with their damn cell phones and they're this and that. And there's some legitimacy there, right? Like, get your face out of your screen. But do you find somebody like him is so much more well adjusted for like the business side of things and the social side of things? And it's not all, hey, the kids are bad. It's like there's things they're dealing with that are just different, but they're also well more advanced in a lot of other areas that we had no idea what we were doing. Do you find that at all?
Well, definitely. I mean, the kids I coach, they teach me something about my cell phone every day, So I'm studying learning, and I have the iPhone 16 Pro Max, and they know more about it than I do. So, but the kids that surround me, they do a great job because I tell them all the time that cell phone can be a distraction. Let's eliminate the distractions. Let's be the best we can be. If there's time that you set aside where you can, do all the other entertainment. But in order to be a great student athlete, you got to stay focused. So, and they all do a great job at it. Not only Queshawn, but the rest of the guys that's in the locker room with him. They understand it, and it's a plus because not everywhere in the nation you can have a guy. And I don't really brag on myself, but I told him, I said, there's name another place you can have a guy that's been up for the Heisman, that's won a David O'Brien, that's in the Hall of Fame, that's played quarterback, that's know how to lead a team. You can't find that in a lot of places. So I do my best every single day to keep those guys in line.
Well, now I'm sure you're proud to hear this all the time. Coach Michael Bishop with us here, a legend in college football, a Hall of Famer, NJCAA Hall of Famer as well, and certainly a great guy. We've had you on the show before. Good luck this season, and we hope to talk to you again soon. And good luck to your Wildcats on Saturday.
Yes, I appreciate you guys for having me. Let's go K-State. Let's bring it back. Let's go U of H, Coach Fritz. Let's go Legacy Titans. Big one next week.
It's Michael Bishop, the legend, with us here on 365 Sports. Love talking to you. Coach, good luck. See you soon.
Thank you.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Queshawn Henderson, that's Houston under Tom Herman got Ed Oliver.
Yep.
And I'm not trying to knock Ed Oliver. He was a 5-star prospect. Yeah, I'm not trying to knock Ed Oliver. But just because Queshawn Henderson is that local guy who's a 5-star quarterback, that's like another step in that direction.